Project Strong tonight on 205 Live. You take on Hideo Itami in a championship tournament matchup. We found you out here in the middle of the stands alone. What's going through your mind right now?
Everything. Every single day that I've been a professional wrestler is going through my mind right now. The journey, everything that I've done up to this point. More importantly, the fact that I've wrestled Hideo Itami all over the world. But tonight, we get to do it on 205 Live, and this is definitely the biggest one yet. This is for an opportunity to possibly go to WrestleMania, and everybody wants the WrestleMania moment, and after I beat Hideo tonight, I'm one step closer to my WrestleMania moment.
So you've had a very busy weekend. You're just coming off NXT live events. Are you mentally and physically prepared for tonight?
Of course I am. I'm made for this. Since I've stepped inside of a professional wrestling ring, I've been ready for this. Since 12 years old, I've been ready for this. I prepare every day like it's my last, and I always have, and I always will. And the unfortunate thing is, as much as I respect Hideo tonight, he's the first guy in my way, and I'm going to have to break.
Come in.
Mr. Maverick.
How are you? Good
so
to
great
see you.
to
Thank
see
you for coming. How you doing? Appreciate it.
It's our pleasure. You wanted to discuss something with us, perhaps my plans for a better 205 Live.
Something to do with that,
Okay.
yeah. And thank you for the flowers, by the way.
You're very welcome.
Yeah, quick question. Drew,
Yeah.
what happened to you?
What?
What happened to you, Drew?
What do you mean?
Well, you used to be the most rugged grappler on 205 Live. Now all I see is you with PowerPoint presentations and standing there with picket signs.
Yeah.
Drew, when did you become such a goof? And I don't know what you're laughing at, Muscles. You are the most physically gifted out of everybody on the 205 Live brand, but that's wasted. All you want to do is go out in front of the WWE Universe. 1, 2, 3, 4. Congratulations, Tony. You have abs. You two have the most wasted potential out of everybody on the 205 Live roster. You have your futures in your hands, and all you want to do, you want to be comedy acts. You want to joke around. Well, that train, that's left the station now. This is a different 205 Live, and next week, in the first round of the WWE Cruiserweight Championship Tournament, it's going to be Tony Nese versus Drew Gulak. Now that that's sunk in for you, I want to know which one of you is finally going to step up to the plate. Now get out of my office.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 92 of Josh Lopez Wrestling Podcast right here on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, wherever you get your podcast from. Also, my personal YouTube channel, which you can subscribe to right now. Just type in Josh Lopez Wrestling Podcast, subscribe to the channel, and you'll get every single edition, yes, of the Josh Lopez Wrestling Podcast. This is your first time listening? Welcome. This is a podcast for you, the wrestling fan that wants to have fun. For those who've been the real MVPs and have been listening to my soliloquies and nonsense over the past 5 years, I thank you for hopping on with me again and joining this fun ride of professional wrestling as we're on the road, baby, to WrestleMania 34. Some business stuff to get out of the way. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at NotoriousJoshing. You can check out our Facebook page, facebook.com/JWL Podcast. Leave a review if you can on Apple Podcasts. It'll be very beneficial for us to sky up the rankings, which we deserve. And this podcast has been picking a lot of momentum, and we've been having a lot of fun over the past couple weeks reuniting with the good brother Adam Daly. And who knows when he'll come on next time, but these past few episodes that we did with Adam has been a lot of fun, and the feedback we've been getting back, it's been very humbling. Now we're going back to our regular scheduled format with the intros and the nice little edit production pieces before we talk about Raw and SmackDown. And also, we got the return of the Yacht Club. And what happened over the weekend, there's only one clip to use for this week's Yacht Club over the week, but we're not at that point yet. As always, per ritual, I'd like to do one monologue that's either life-related or wrestling-related. And today's topic is going to be 205 Live. I have a website called ProWrestlingTranscriptions.com. If you could bookmark that, please do. That's my play-by-play website where I basically do all the play-by-play articles for every single wrestling show that you see on television, and also the pay-per-views and New Japan specials. At the end of this week's podcast, I'm going to be previewing the New Beginning show in Osaka, which is happening tomorrow. So when you guys listen to this, I hope you guys get a chance to check out New Japan because they've been doing some great stuff. I'm going to be talking about 205 Live, what I've been enjoying about that. Talk a little bit about Monday Night Raw since we're on the road to the Elimination Chamber. And also a little bit about the top 10 list about SmackDown Live. So there's a lot of nice little subtle things that are going on right now. We're not fully into like the full go-home charge for WrestleMania yet. And I have a topic regarding not knowing everything about the WrestleMania card yet. I won't get into that throughout the show. So once again, I just want to say thank you for giving this podcast a chance. I hope you enjoy it. Hopefully I don't bore you. My goal here to do this podcast is to make you think outside the box, out of the wrestling bubble, and provide a different perspective that you don't get from other shows. I'm not a shill. I'm not a Mark. I'm not a Smart. I'm not an IWC guy. I'm Joshua Ada Lopez, and I'm a wrestling fan. It's just that simple. I am positive. If you say I'm positive to a fault, fine, I'll take that. I don't care. Because I rather enjoy this and point out the stuff and celebrate the stuff that I like, and then harping and make you feel bad about professional wrestling over the stuff I don't like. That's not what I'm here. I'm all about keeping it 100. Trust me. I have no filter. I don't care who I offend. I do not. But at the same time, my goal here is not to make you feel bad as a wrestling fan. My goal here is to make you enjoy it for what it is, because there's so many podcasts out there that rest on their laurels, and they sit on this high chair of we know everything about booking, and this should be done this way, this thing should be done that way, and that's just not my deal, and you guys know that by now. So once again, thank you for checking out the show. We are 8 episodes away from reaching the 100 mark, which is pretty cool. I did this podcast literally a week after WrestleMania 32. It was right around when I was in a little transitional phase because I was kind of in some internal conflict with my former employer with WrestleZone, and I was supposed to be in Dallas for that particular WrestleMania, and then some politics and stuff got in the way of that. It's funny, even politics happen in wrestling media circles. How funny and dumb is that at the same time? But nonetheless, I'm still here. I'm still kicking ass. I'm still grinding and still working hard. I want to give a couple shout-outs. A shout-out to the crew at Rant with Ant. Follow them on Twitter at Rant with Ant. Good luck to everybody this weekend who will be nominated for the Wrestling Radio Awards for 2018. I was nominated for Show of the Year, which is very, very humbling. I want to thank the guys over there at Showdown Network for even considering me to be part of it. And also, shout out to you guys who also voted for me in the process as well. Even if I don't win anything this weekend, it's just humbling the fact that I can be considered good enough to be in these same categories as other great podcasts out there. And there's good wrestling podcasts. There's stale wrestling podcasts, and this podcast is just unlistenable. It is what it is. I don't know how you guys feel about my podcast. That's not for me to say. I can't tell you I feel I have the best one. I know I bust my ass, and I try my best to provide the best show I can for you guys from an authentic standpoint, and that's what I do here. Everything you hear from me comes from my heart. I'm not saying this is manufactured or scripted. If anything scripted on the show is just how we format the segments, but as far as my opinions on the show and the product, it's all me, and that's the way it should be, and I hope you guys understand that. So even if you disagree with where I'm coming from with the angle, maybe you're not as positive as a wrestling fan as I am, I hope you would understand where I'm coming from. You're listening to Joshua Adam Lopez. You're not listening to Josh Lopez repeating the same thing that somebody else said on the network. You're not listening to Josh Lopez reciting the same crap you hear on a Vince Russo show or Lance Storm or any other podcast. You know what I mean? Because I'm not going to allow those people to speak for me. I'd be insulting your intelligence. I've never been inside the actual wrestling business. I don't know why things happen for a reason. Contrary to any dirt sheet stuff you read, we don't really know what's going on behind the scenes and why this happens and why certain angles are drawn on this way and this and that. And I kind of like it that way. That's kind of the charm of it. I want to learn and have that opportunity to earn the right to understand why things are happening instead of going my way and spoiling that for myself. And then that's the thing with wrestling. We go out of our way to make sure that we don't enjoy the product. And that's how I feel. I feel like we go out of our way every single week to find reasons to be upset and to whine and moan and bitch and complain about stuff that's meaningless and not looking at things at a bigger picture standpoint. And I think 205 Live is a perfect example of that. You had a product that's providing the great technical wrestling that diehard wrestling fans crave and salivate for, and they're like, oh, you'll never get a 5-star wrestling match from WWE because they have all these parameters and restrictions and this and that. And I think 205 Live debunks that narrative. Do you have characters? Do you have comedy? Do you have sports entertainment elements to 205 Live? Sure. But it's under the WWE umbrella. That's their product. That's their form of entertainment. I understand that. That's their property. They can do whatever the hell they want with it. Whether you like it or not, they can do whatever they want with any show. If they wanted to add some more comedy and add some more drama to NXT programming and not make it all super indie or old school wrestling, they have that right to do it. They have the creative right to do whatever they want. Now, I don't have to agree with all they do. And there's stuff that I don't like about the product. But generally, especially with 205 Live, this is the best amount of in-ring wrestling that I've seen in my entire life. And I can speak from a selfish point of view because covering these shows each week, I genuinely get excited to cover these wrestling shows because while maybe even some storylines may not be the greatest on planet Earth, or some of them don't make sense, or sometimes maybe one of my favorite guys are not getting all the spotlight on the program, whether it's Raw or SmackDown, one thing is a constant in WWE in 2018 is great in-ring wrestling, and at the end of the day, that's on the marquee. That's why we watch. We're watching a wrestling show. We're watching an entertainment show, too, at the same time. But the backdrop will always be wrestling inside the ring. And I understand that you need characters to be invested and understand why they're fighting. And, you know, you'll have Disco Inferno and Vince Russo ridicule you for enjoying fake fights or whatever. But these guys will also go on their soapbox whining about 50-50 booking. But, hey, why are you so concerned about fake fights then? It's a funny narrative and things that just spew out of people's mouths sometimes on podcasts that I just start laughing at this point. I realized over the past couple years that I let a lot of those opinions affect me in a bad way because I felt that a lot of wrestling fans were just flocking like sheep to those guys, and anything they said that ever came out of their mouth was the gospel. Yeah, I don't have the experience of Vince Russo or Disco Inferno or anybody else in the wrestling business who do podcasts now and are negative about the product. I don't have the experience they have. But guess what? I don't have to agree with them. I'll listen to them, and I always like listening to other perspectives. It's not always, I'm only going to listen to a podcast if it's positive about the WWE. I listen to other shows, and they criticize and this and that, and all I want is genuism when I'm listening to a podcast as a listener. You know, I have a podcast. I've been doing this stuff for 5 years. I'm a trained professional broadcaster. I love doing this. at the same time, I'm still a wrestling fan. So as a wrestling fan, I'm listening to all these other shows. I feel it's kind of slapped in my face when I'm hearing the same things, the same narratives, in the same cadence, in a way, using the same words. And I just feel generally there's no substance to the actual analyzation of what's going on in professional wrestling. And that's something I want you guys to think about today. Let me know. Do you think I'm wrong? Here's the one prevailing thought that I feel right now in this business as a fan and as somebody who does a podcast. There's no not financial. There's no actual substance in the analyzation of professional wrestling today. Because a lot of the analyzation comes out of spite and bitterness over certain performers not getting treated the way that said person wants them to be treated. A lot of it comes from just general pettiness and our society being shallow and negative at every little thing that goes on in life and second guessing everything. And there's a lot of bad things that are going on in this world, and I can understand why people are upset and miserable most of the time, but I live with a positive mental attitude. I'm different than most people. It is what it is. But I think the theme for today's show, and it's something I want you guys to think about, is there any substance to the actual annualization of today's professional wrestling product? I'm not speaking just of WWE. I'm talking about all of wrestling. Are there any substance to what you listen to on these podcasts? Think about that. Let me know at Twitter at NotoriousJoshi. You can also send me an email at prowrestlingtranscriptions@gmail.com. So, back to 205 Live. I started covering the Cruiserweights since they returned to the WWE with the Cruiserweight Classic. And you guys know already about my story about the play-by-play articles and why I enjoy doing them and this and that. 205 Live, in a lot of ways, are kind of similar to me to the effect New Japan and Lucha Underground's had on me. I feel a show like 205 Live has helped me become a better fan and also a better writer and a better play-by-play writer at that point as well, because it's introducing to new wrestling styles, new performers, different backgrounds. I'm learning all these moves. Big shout out to Mauro Ranallo and Nigel McGuinness for being a big part of that and actually calling out the proper moves for what they are, so I can follow along properly with the product. And I love 205 Live. I always have. Even through its dark ages, whether there was dark ages, I don't know. Some people feel like 205 Live was at this breaking point and, it was going to be canceled and this and that. I never felt that way when I was watching 205 Live, and I've covered every edition of 205 Live since it came out a little bit over a year ago. And I love the product for what it is. It's fun. It's entertaining. I love the Cruiserweight Classic. It gave me a new batch of wrestlers that I can latch onto and enjoy, like Drew Gulak and Cedric Alexander and Chicago's own Mustafa Ali. The list goes on and on from Tony Nese and Graham Metalik and hell, even guys like Jack Gallagher or even in this case, maybe even a guy like Arya Daivari. You know, these guys busted their ass in the indie scenes to even get recognized. And they had this opportunity to provide a fun 1-hour show all about in-ring prowess, but also bringing in some of the WWE elements to their product. Because, always been one of the knocks about the Cruiserweight wrestlers in wrestling, especially in WWE, is that while, they're great wrestlers, you can't connect to them because they don't have any charisma. They don't have any entertainment qualities to them besides what they can do in the ring. And I know some performers, that's only their only calling card. Yeah, Daniel Bryan has some humor, this and that, but do I look at Daniel Bryan as a wordsmith or a promo guy like The Rock? No. a lot of what makes Daniel Bryan interesting and special is the stories that he tells in the ring as opposed to what he says on the mic. And a lot of that applies to a guy like Johnny Gargano as well. So when I watch 205 Live, I get to enjoy these guys' journey and see how much they've grown as performers, not only in the ring, but also in the mic. And I generally get excited for watching 205 Live. I think 205 Live in a lot of ways, as a television show each week, is better than NXT. Now, 205 Live doesn't have pay-per-views like TakeOver, where everybody bloviates over these takeovers like it's the greatest shows of all time. In a lot of ways, for me, personally, I've enjoyed 205 Live more than NXT. But that's me. I'm not a guy that gets on my knees and blows NXT like everybody. I'm sorry, I'm not that guy. There's aspects of NXT I like, and some of it's just filler. But when I watch 205 Live, we do get different matchups, and I enjoy the actual wrestling in 205 Live, and it's a lot of fun. And especially with this new tournament now, and then we got Drake Maverick as general manager, and you hear these reports about Triple H now being in charge of the creative for 205 Live, and we got this tournament which is going to conclude at WrestleMania. I just think it's awesome. And, you know, I fell in love with a guy like Drew Gulak, who was one of my major standout performers last year, and he was from 205 Live. All the stuff with the PowerPoint presentations, I was salivating for that stuff, and it sucks that we never fully got an actual PowerPoint presentation segment, because I thought that would have been really funny, and it would have been good heat for Drew Gulak. I love Drew Gulak. I think he's a great wrestler, but also he's good at getting heat. And I just enjoy his work. So we got the start of this tournament, and we had awesome matches like Cedric Alexander against Grand Metalik, and then you have Tyler Bate against TJP, and then this past Tuesday, a match maybe you wouldn't be interested in paper, Kalisto and Lindsay Dorado turned the freaking house down. And now think about this. We're coming off Raw, right? We're coming off SmackDown Live, which had a crazy conclusion, and we found out that it's going to be Kevin Owens against Sami Zayn and against AJ Styles in a triple threat match at FastLane. So you have all this chaos happening in SmackDown. You already invested 3 hours of Raw the past night. And you also watched a fun edition of Mixed Match Challenge, which, by the way, I think is a cool concept, and these matches are really cool, and I think it's helping some of these characters from a character development standpoint. It adds some different layers to their characters. But back to 205 Live. So you're already investing right around 6 hours of wrestling between those three shows. And then you get to 205 Live. And you have a crowd in there in Kansas City, Missouri. And Kansas City's not that big of a wrestling market. I heard back in the territory days, a lot of the wrestlers would complain about going to Kansas City. So, you know, some of them are interested, some of them are not. So you're already there for 3 hours. You get 3 shows, and you have a match like Kalisto and Lindsay Dorado on paper that you may not be invested in it, and then they tore the fucking house down. And then you follow that up with Roderick Strong and Hideo Itami in a awesome main event. I love what's going on with the cruiserweights right now. I really do. I think it's fun what they're doing for the product from an in-ring standpoint. This tournament's been off the chain so far. Next week we got Tony Nese against Drew Gulak, and then we have let's see who's coming next week. We have Akira Tozawa, right? Akira Tozawa will be taking on. Let's see who he is actually taking on, because I thought I had the right guy. I know it's Tony Nese and Drew Gulak. That's already confirmed. Akira Tozawa, right? He'll be taking on. Wait for it. He's taking on Mandrews for the UK division. I think that's awesome. You know, you're implementing these guys from NXT and you're implementing these guys from the UK division. I have no problem with that. Akira Tozawa against Mandrews, I think that's great. And one thing on Tozawa, which I think is really, really cool, I've been enjoying his little backstage vignettes where he's just walking around and firing people. I just think that's really funny. And then I like what's going on with Drake Maverick, and I think he's going to be a good on-screen authority figure for 205 Live. And I just think 205 is in a great state of mind heading into WrestleMania season, and you're gaining a lot of momentum at the right time of the year. And I think that's very cool for the 205 Live brand as we head closer and closer to WrestleMania. And, you know, with all due respect to guys like Neville and Austin Aries, who are awesome performers and would be great additions to 205 Live, their egos got in the way of being part of this. Basically, they made 205 Live all about Neville and Austin Aries for a good amount of 6 months last year. Neville never lost. He had this super long title reign that started at the Royal Rumble. And he's won. And he won. And he won. And he beat Aries over and over and over again. And then just a little bit of a losing streak and having to give the title to Enzo, Neville decides, I'm too big for this. I should be booked better. I should have a better win-loss record. I should go home. I'm going to take my ball and go home. And Neville, we haven't seen Neville since. You know, a lot of people compare the Neville thing to CM Punk. I don't. I think Punk, over a period of time, just had enough of the minutia that came with the business. Neville just left because he had his feelings hurt for how he's being booked. That is what I don't have respect for. Now, if you're not having fun and you don't want to be there, don't be there. But you're going to leave after the company went out of their way to make you the focal point of their product on a brand new product on a new platform on the network, and they made it about you, and you got title matches and long title matches on Big 4 pay-per-views, but you leave because you weren't on the DVD poster or the DVD for WrestleMania, Austin Aries. A lot of it is self-inflicted. You know, a lot of these people talk about WWE can't get out of their own way, but it's if you really think about it and you really dig in, it's a lot of the talents getting in their own way. And this is all happens in life as we conclude this monologue. We are our own worst enemy. We dictate where our life goes. We dictate the progression of our careers. Our decisions affect our future. Nobody else. You allow people to get in your head. You allow people to cloud your judgment. That's on you. Nobody else. You have to make your decisions for you. Fight for what you want. And go get what you want. But also realize you have to humble yourself in the process. Nobody's going to hand you anything. To have an opportunity for a wrestling product, a wrestling company to make one show all about you, and then you get on your high horse because you weren't winning every single match. Everybody knows how good Neville is. Everybody knows how awesome a performer Austin Aries is. And I get it. There's a lot of pride. There's a lot of ego that comes with being a professional wrestler. I can understand that, even for somebody who's not in the business. I understand that. And there's a lot of prideful guys that busted their ass and this and that. And I have always the utmost respect for these performers. Absolutely. But whether you're a baseball player, a wrestler, a musician, an actor, a politician, a news writer, an anchor, or whatever, you have to humble yourself. You can think you're great, but you're not great until people tell you you're great. Your work shows how great you were. Not your mouth, not your narratives. Your work speaks for itself. and that's what it is. I like what's going on with 205 Live. It's a shame that Neville and Austin Aries' egos got in the way of making the show even better than what it is right now. Because they should be here, and they're not. Now, if Neville didn't want to be there anymore, that's on him, and I don't blame him. If you don't want to be somewhere, you have to separate yourself from that situation. And I hope the best for him. And now Austin Aries is the new Impact World Heavyweight Champion on Impact Wrestling. Congrats to him. But, you know, a lot of times in the situations, us as fans should be like, oh, the WWE doesn't know how to get out of their own way. Yeah, a guy like Neville, who's one of the best performers in the world, and you should have booked them better. No. I'm not a sheep. I'm not one of these little insecure IWC marks who are his only excuse for why certain things happen to performance is only based on booking. No. I ain't doing that. So I hope you guys enjoyed this monologue. Please let me know your answers to this week's question. Is there any actual substance in the analyzation of the wrestling product in the wrestling podcast you listen to? Let me know at Twitter at NotoriousJoshy. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for this week's Yacht Club Moment of the Week. I'm not going to play the intro because this clip is pretty long, so I want you guys to hear the whole thing. It's pretty simple, and I think you guys may know where I'm going with this. It's not Vince Russo. It's not Dave Meltzer. It's actually a WWE Hall of Famer. Booker T is the theme of this week's Yacht Club Moment of the Week.
People want to know, you know, what is the real deal between Booker T and Corey Graves? People want to know why Booker T is not on Monday Night Raw at this point. And there's no better place to go to get the information. You go straight to the source.
Straight out of the horse's mouth.
And, you know, the horse is here, baby. I'm going to talk about it. I want to talk about it right here. You know, people ask me about Corey Graves. Corey Graves is good at what he does. You know, Corey Graves, he's thrown jabs at me. I've thrown jabs back. You know, and the thing is, Corey Graves, of course, yeah, he's a college educated young man. His vernacular is a little different than mine. You see that word I just threw?
Vernacular.
Yeah.
It's a good word.
I threw that out there just so
it's SAT word.
I just want you people to know. I mean, I didn't just, I ain't studied this. It's just something that we just threw out. But I tell you, if I got Corey Graves into a fisticuffs, I would beat him down like he stole something.
What would you do if Corey Graves was here right now?
I would be whooping his ass all day long. Because that's the thing. My thing is this. I'm a nice guy until you get on my bad side. Corey Graves, right now, I wouldn't necessarily say he's on my bad side, but he's the reason that I'm not on Monday Night Raw right now. Because
Corey Graves is the reason?
Because the people, you know what? A lot of people in the company thought I was going to jump on him. I was going to do something bad to him. I was going to drag him. I was going to take him out to the woodshed. I was going to beat that man so bad. I was going to beat him to this man and say, please, just don't beat me anymore. That's how hot I was getting. That's how close I was getting. So they said, hey, Book, we're going to take step back a second. All right, we're going to regroup. All right, we're going to press the rewind button. We're going to send you back to the kickoff show, SmackDown. Pay-per-view, SmackDown, Monday Night Raw pay-per-views, and cool you down for a second. Because we don't want you to do anything to Corey Graves because we know what you can do to him. We know what Corey Graves can do. I mean,
you break his neck like a pencil.
He's sitting there for a reason, man. He's sitting there for a reason, and Corey Graves knows it. Next time, and you know what? I tell you this here. I want all you people out there to know. You heard it right here on Heated Conversation, Sports Radio 610. It's probably going to make all the dirt sheets like Meltzer and all those guys. But if I catch Corey Graves on the street, I'm going to do something to him. All right? I ain't going to do it at the office or anything like that. But if I catch
Not going to do it on the airport.
I'm not going to do it. No,
in the airport.
No, I'm not going to do it in the airport. I'm not going to do it.
Not at the arena.
No, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that.
But if you see him on the street.
But if I catch Corey Graves on the street, you see that little bouffant hairdo he got?
I see it.
I'm going to rearrange it for him. All right? I'm just saying.
He's, walking out of a coffee shop on his way to a tattoo parlor.
Let me catch him at Starbucks. You know what I mean? I'm going to tattoo him.
He's going to get in a chocolate croissant all warmed up.
I'm talking about caramel hot macchiato all over it. You understand?
Extra hot.
You know what I mean? So
double cupped.
That's the skivvies, Corey Graves and Booker T. You know, I ain't got.
You're saying he's a punk?
Nah, I ain't gonna. You know what? He's one of those guys that gonna have to walk it like he talk it. That's one of those.
That's one of those Migos songs right now, right?
yeah.
Pull up that walk it like I talk it.
Walk it like he talk it. Yeah, that's what he's gonna have to do. He's gonna have to walk it like he talks it. You know what I mean? Because, like I said, me personally, everybody know my reputation. I get mean, when you mess with my green. And right now, my green is, being messed with. You know what I mean? So, me and Corey Graves, is WrestleMania coming up, right?
Yeah.
There's room for one more match on WrestleMania.
Always room for another match.
Right now, on my show, Heated Conversation, Sports Radio 610, I'm calling Corey Graves out to a fight. Not a match.
Not a pre-show pose down.
Not a pre-show pose down or anything like that. I'm calling Corey Graves out to a fight. I'm talking about man-to-man, mano-a-mano, you and I. You know what I'm saying? Can you handle that? Huh? You feel this right here?
This is for you, Corey.
This is for you.
Mamma mia. Don't we have two Nimrods right there? Now, supposedly, Corey Graves is going to be appearing on Heated Conversations on Sports Radio 610 in Houston tomorrow. So there's your plug, Booker T. And I also got the call letters on that, too. Sports Radio 610 in Houston, Texas. That's this week's Yacht Club Moment of the Week. I played the dumbest pieces of wrestling podcast audio for your listening pleasure. Hope you enjoyed that. If you ever have any suggestions, please send it to me on Twitter at NotoriousSjoshi. And we'll have another batch of Yacht Club moments for you guys next week. Now it's time to talk about this past week's SmackDown Live from Kansas City, Missouri.
Sammy, tonight your friendship kind of goes on hold as you face Kevin Owens for the...
Does it? Does it, though? Does our friendship really go on hold? Is that how friendships work? They just go on hold? No. Dasha, no. That's... Let me explain this to you, because you're not the first person to try to do this. Everybody's trying to do this to us. Everyone wants to try to drive a wedge. If it's not Shane McMahon, now it's Daniel Bryan. Everyone's trying to drive a wedge between the friendship of Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. But that's not what this is about. The friendship doesn't go on hold. We're still friends. Right now, we're still friends. This is just about opportunity. I mean, how hard is that to understand? It's just about opportunity. And you know what? I love Kevin. I love you, Kevin. You've had a lot of opportunities. He's had loads of opportunities. Tonight is just about me and my opportunity, because now it's my time to become WWE World Champion.
All right, so check this out. Last week, we came out here to let y'all know what this day one-ish means. This week, right now, we out here to let y'all know what being locked down is all about. I ain't talking about getting booked and getting fingerprinted. I ain't talking about orange jumpsuits and cold showers. I ain't talking about sleeping on no slab of concrete for 8 hours straight. Trust me, I know. Now, what we talking about is a state of mind. You see, what we do is we turn that mind into a prison. Lockdown, which means we run that prison. Think about that. Yes, we do. A lot of cats out here starving, Oos. A lot of cats out here acting real hungry. Hey, I ain't talking about cupcakes or bonbons, Oos. No, we talking about the hunger for success. Hey, y'all can't eat until we say you can't eat. A lot of cats out here acting thirsty. Yeah. They out here reaching, looking real thirsty. Ain't talking about lemonade, Kool-Aid, or none of that purple stuff. Nah, Oos, we talking about the thirst to be in that spotlight. Take a sip of this holy grail. You can try to. I'll split you like the Red Sea. Ooh-wee. A lot of cats out here sleeping on the Usos. They out here sleeping on the Usos.
Ain't talking about no bedtime stories or bunk beds.
Nah, Usos. We're talking about 2017 was the come up for the Usos. It was a turnaround for the Usos. I'm talking about we went from face paint
to snapbacks.
We went from rainbow colors
to white and black.
We went from wrestling tights
to the all whites.
We went from they might be all right.
To yeah. We had match of the night. Woo! Yeah.
Hey, we went from Samoan drops to super kicks.
To Uso crazy to this day one-ish.
Hey, y'all can't sleep until we say you can sleep.
You better recognize the next time you feel little hair standing behind your neck and you feel those little goosebumps running through your body and your head is on a swivel because you feel like somebody creeping behind you. No. It's not paranoia. It's the ooze.
Becky Lynch, congratulations, coming in number 8 on the SmackDown Live Top 10 list. Now ahead of you, Charlotte Flair at number 2 and Naomi at number 4. How are you feeling right now?
Yeah. It's great to be in the top 10, yeah. But you don't come to the WWE to be in the top 10 or to be number 8. You come to be number 1, you know. So I'd just be interested to see who put Naomi in number 4. Now, she's great, and she's heck of a dancer and full of athleticism, but number 4. Well, is this a weekly thing? You don't know if this is going to be a weekly thing. So there's always options to climb. All right. So next time they come out, I'll be number 1, right? Gonna make it to number 1. We'll make it to number 1, Dasha. We will. That's what we'll do. That's what we'll do, Dasha. We'll do it.
Now, this list was compiled by the SmackDown Live roster. They could not vote for themselves, and neither Shane nor myself had any input whatsoever in the order. So without further ado, number 10 is appropriately none other than Ty Dillinger. Number 9 is the Viper, Randy Orton. Number 8 is Becky Lynch. 7th place on the list belongs to the tag team champions, the Usos. Number 6, The New Day. 5th is the United States champion, Bobby Roode. Number 4 is Naomi. Number 3 belongs to the 2018 Royal Rumble winner, Shinsuke Nakamura. Number 2 is the women's champion, Charlotte Flair. Which brings us to the top spot. Number 1 on the SmackDown Live Top 10 Superstars list is the WWE champion, the phenomenal AJ Styles.
You know, guys, I gotta be honest, I'm a little surprised Randy Orton was all the way back at number 9, but can somebody please explain to me how the New Day ranked higher than the reigning SmackDown Tag Team Champions, the Usos, and where was Rusev?
Well, forget about Rusev, but I'll answer your question for you. Look, I think part of this is a popularity contest, and we've seen the Usos come out here and put all these tag teams on blast. It wouldn't surprise me if when it came down to making that list, some of those superstars went, yeah, the Usos, they're good, but they're not that good.
I'm sure if you got locked in the Uso penitentiary, Byron, we could sell you for a couple honey buns.
Luckily, I'm an escape artist.
Welcome back to the podcast. Time to talk a little bit about SmackDown Live from Kansas City, Missouri. Hope you guys enjoyed those clips right there. And we have the reveal of the top 10 list for SmackDown. It's very interesting. A lot of them make sense for where they are. Maybe the Ty Dillinger thing is a little gimmicky, but obviously it's the first list. I mean, come on. You're not going to get a full detail of where this goes, but I think it provides different aspects to SmackDown Live, and I want to see how this list actually affects formatting the shows and who fights who and this and that. But It would make sense to have Asuka. No, not Asuka. I mean AJ Styles and Charlotte Flair. It's the top two up there, and you could flip flop with the Usos and the New Day. Naomi had a very high ranking, but she's also won a lot of matches too, so you can't really blame her. Maybe it was more storyline that Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn were not on that list. But obviously, having Nakamura number 3 win the Rumble makes sense. Totally fine with that. Bobby Roode being number 5, he won the United States Championship. I like the concept, and I think it could be a little bit something different for the SmackDown brand that separates itself from Raw. And we'll see what this list does to affect the actual match ups for the shows. And I don't know if this list will affect any future plans for SmackDown exclusive pay-per-views or programs, but we'll see what happens in the future. Other stuff on the show that stood out to me, you guys know me, I don't like to break down every single little segment on the show. I want to keep this fast and going so you guys go enjoy your weekend, and you guys don't want to hear me ramble on for too long. So I really enjoyed the Bobby Roode Rusev United States Championship match. That was a lot of fun. It was a very good match. Randy Orton just dropped everybody after the match was over with RKO. So maybe you get some type of 4-way or 3-way at FastLane. And FastLane's the next pay-per-view for SmackDown Live, which will be on March 11th. So think about that. I'm recording this on February 9th today, on a Friday. And we're literally a full month away from Fastlane. So we have 4 more SmackDowns to go before this pay-per-view. So there's a lot of time to fill, and we'll see what Bobby Roode will be doing at the Fastlane pay-per-view. We do know the main event, though. It'll be AJ Styles against Sami Zayn against Kevin Owens in the triple threat match. Now, Shane McMahon is now making it a fatal 4-way with this added stipulation now because Baron Corbin will be taking on the returning Dolph Ziggler next week, which I think is very interesting. So I can see Ziggler possibly being added to that match. If you want to balance out the good guys and bad guys, we'll see about that. And then other stuff on the show, like even though you may look at it as filler and it's just a regular TV match, like I felt that Benjamin and Gable had a nice little match with the Ascension. Like it wasn't groundbreaking or anything like that. They're not going to be in a feud, but like Jim Ross says a lot in his podcast, and he says this a lot in the past. You have to maximize your TV time, and I thought those 2 tag teams did that. And even like Liv Morgan, she got a 2-segment match with Charlotte. That was the first match of the show. Perfectly fine. Was the match awesome? No, but I thought the match was okay. You get to see Liv Morgan, see what she can do as a singles performer, and you still have the Riot Squad out there. Some people are 50-50 on them. And then you had probably my favorite part of the show this past week was the Daniel Bryan, Shane McMahon confrontation segment, because I really thought we were finally getting to the full layers of the beef with each other. And then Shane brought up the fact that Daniel Bryan still wants to wrestle, and he basically called him out, saying that Daniel Bryan's basically living vicariously through Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, which I thought was very interesting. And we're going to get some more confrontation with those guys as the Road to WrestleMania continues. But then AJ Styles comes out, it's Wrestler Buddy, and has to cut his promo about how he's the champion and how he's going to beat everybody at Fastlane. That's kind of the part where they hook you in, but you also remember this is episodic television, so we're going to get all the answers where you're going at. But I really felt there was some steam going right there where Daniel Bryan's like, where are you going with this? And then he said, then Shane was like, I think you're living vicariously through Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, right? And then Daniel Bryan was going to say something else, and then it's like, man, I wanted to hear what Daniel Bryan was going to say. I thought that was very good from a storytelling standpoint. I liked how they did that opening segment. It's probably one of the best segments that Shane and Bryan has done. I remember this kind of started in that SmackDown in Chicago, the Christmas one, where Daniel Bryan was kind of ripping Shane's dad, and I think we're going to get to some really good territory of this story with Daniel Bryan and Shane. I don't know what it's going to lead to. It could lead to a one-on-one match with them. It could lead to possibly them teaming up against Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn at WrestleMania. I think that would be an interesting idea. I want to get your guys' thoughts on that. I'll put that up in the description of this podcast. And I just think it's very interesting. I really, really enjoyed that segment, and I'm going to air that segment to close out this week's podcast and let you guys let me know what you think about the Shane McMahon Daniel Bryan feud. So overall, I enjoyed SmackDown. We all have to understand there's a lot of television that you may feel that's filler, but we have to get through these shows. These are our roadblocks before WrestleMania. We're not knowing the full card for Mania yet. We don't need to know the full card yet. Let's get through these pay-per-views. This is the time for them to build on these characters and add more character development and more layers to these characters. And to enjoy some good solid TV wrestling matches. So I thought SmackDown served its purpose. I thought it was okay. Let me guys know what you thought about SmackDown. We're going to take one more break, and then when we come back, we'll close the show talking about this past week's Monday Night Raw right here on the Josh Lopez Wrestling Podcast.
You never want to listen. You never want to learn. You weren't even supposed to be out there. What were you thinking? I was just trying to It's always about I with you. That's your problem. It's never about we.
I was just defending myself.
I again. You selfish son of a...
Whoa, hold on. You're getting out of line. My son's legitimately hurt, okay?
The only thing I'm sorry about is that I didn't legitimately hurt him myself.
Listen, you need to get out of here. Go home and stay home until you're medically clear. Okay?
You can't talk.
Damn it, go home! Go!
You know, I turned down performing at the Super Bowl halftime show to come to this God-forsaken wasteland. Clearly, that was a mistake. But I've got a song. And this song is not for any of you. No, this one's for me. It's for me in hopes that I can escape the fact that I am here in Des Moines. I'm gonna need you all to shut your mouths so I can focus. Roman's not a master. He's just a man. Smashed John with my guitar 'cause he didn't understand that gonna win the chamber. Then I move on to Brock Shafir Elias, 'cause with me he'll walk. Oh, whoa.
Finn, your loss last week to John Cena took you out of qualifying for the Elimination Chamber match. However, it was just announced the next week there will be a fatal four-way match, and the winner of that match will head to Elimination Chamber. You're in it, but this time it's not against one man. It'll be against three others. How do you overcome those odds?
You know, Mike, there's an old saying, give me an inch and I will take a mile. Well, they've given me an inch. I'm going to enter and win this fatal four-way match. I am going to enter and win the Elimination Chamber match. They've given me an inch. I'm going to take a mile. I am going to enter WrestleMania, and I am going to take a mile. Because I am going to topple the beast.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, final segment here in this podcast. I want to go back to that question I said in the beginning of the show. The theme of our podcast this week. Is there any substance to the analyzation of today's wrestling product? Let me know on Twitter and Instagram at NotoriousJoshi. Let's talk a little bit about Monday Night Raw. I love doing that. Vince McMahon impression never gets old. Vinnie Mac, yeah, pal. We're gonna go live from Des Moines, Iowa. Yeah, the Wells Fargo Arena in Little Des Moines, Iowa. Home of Bumblefuck City, USA. There's like a nice little pattern that I dubbed Bumblefuck City, USA. These are towns that are just in the middle of nowhere where I have absolutely no interest of going to unless I'm working for the WWE. First one on that list is Cleveland, Ohio. You guys know, those that have listened to my shows and other sports shows I've done in the past know how much I can't stand Cleveland. Second one on that list is Bismarck, North Dakota. Third, Montana. Fourth, Des Moines, Iowa. And last is certainly not least, Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. These are cities you'll never catch me dead in unless I am working for the WWE. No shot. As my man David Kaplan would say, no shot. Now, going back to Monday Night Raw, this was a really good episode from not only from an in-ring standpoint, but a character standpoint. I'm glad I found the audio for the Seth Rollins, Kurt Angle, Jason Jordan segment, because this was one of the threads from the show this past Monday, where Jason Jordan once again is dealing with his neck issue, which is very serious, and I hope he gets better. By the way, for those assholes on Twitter that are saying that they're glad that Jordan's out of television now because of his booking, and you're glad that he's hurt, you can go screw yourself as far as I'm concerned. That is ridiculous. But back to the story. I just really loved the storytelling that was going through that. And then you had the Seth Rollins Roman Reigns Bar Tag Team title match, which was really fun. A lot of people expected the Shield to win the tag titles back, but it wasn't the case because Jason Jordan got them disqualified. And then you heard the segment right there where Kurt Angle sent him home. I think that's been one of the best segments that Kurt Angle and Jason Jordan has done together as a father-son tandem on this show. I love it. I like what's been going on with Jason Jordan. It really, really sucks that he's injured and he can't perform right now, because I love what he does in the ring. He kind of lets Chicago down with his little passive-aggressive tendencies sometimes, but I enjoy Jason Jordan, the performer, and I got to meet the man before as well. He's a really nice guy, so I'm bummed out about the injury. But at the same time, I just really like that segment that him and Kurt Angle and Seth Rollins had in the backstage. I really, really enjoyed that. And then Elias got a nice victory over John Cena and Braun Strowman in the triple threat match. They added a nice stipulation to this to make you interested in the match. The winner in the match would get the final entry spot in the Elimination Chamber. So basically, whoever won the match was coming out of the Chamber match last. Not coming out last as the winner, but the last of the entrants that go in the Elimination Chamber match. And Elias got that victory, and well-deserved for him, and he got to main event Raw this week. I think that's pretty cool. Obviously, Braun Strowman laid out John Cena and Elias after the match was over, but hey, Elias got a little bit of a spotlight. I think that's really, really cool. Again, Roman Reigns showed that he's one of the best performers in the ring in the world, again, in another great match with Bray Wyatt, and following it up with another match later on, that tag team match I was mentioning earlier. Dude's on fire, man. You can keep hating. He's just that damn good, folks. You have to realize, man, that boy can go in the ring, and you can whine and bitch and moan all you want, but he ain't going anywhere. It's just that simple. Other stuff on the show, we found out the Miz is also qualified for the Elimination Chamber, and also Miz is re-signed with the WWE for another 3 years, which I think is cool. And then, I'm trying to remember other stuff on the show. Oh, I thought Osaka and Bayley had a very good match. Speaking of character development, I liked the Nia Jax promo. I thought that was very good. Also, don't forget the part where Kurt Angle announced it's going to be Nia Jax against Osaka at Elimination Chamber. Whoever wins, if Nia Jax wins, the Raw Women's title match at WrestleMania becomes a triple threat match, and I think that's pretty cool. Now, I think Nia could have a chance to go that route if you're going to do Ronda Rousey against Charlotte at WrestleMania. I think that could work. Now, Asuka, Alexa, and Nia as a triple threat, I wouldn't mind that. I wouldn't. For me, I wouldn't mind seeing Nia, Alexa as a singles match either at the same time. So it's going to be very interesting how they decide where to go with Asuka and who she'll face at WrestleMania. But I thought Nia Jax caught her best promo this past weekend. I also thought Alexa Bliss did a good job in the ring with Kurt Angle as well. This girl gets so much unwarranted hate from the Sasha blowhards. It's so annoying, man. You can go on Twitter every single day and you'll have a butthurt Sasha fan saying, Alexa gets all the opportunities. Yeah, she never wrestles. She's never forced to defend her title. Oh, Alexa is only getting the opportunity because WWE has a type. Kiss my ass. This girl is good. And she dropped the mic in that ring. And she is good in the ring. And she's the best women's character on the Raw roster right now. And the hate that she gets because, so much precious Sasha Banks is not the champion for 500 days. It's a cardinal sin. Sasha Banks fans have turned me off on Sasha Banks. And that's a shame. Because Sasha's a great performer. Yes, she's gorgeous. She's really good in the ring. But her fans have absolutely turned me off on her. And it sucks. It sucks. Besides that, nonetheless, I really enjoyed Raw this week. I thought Raw was better than SmackDown. I think Raw's picking up some nice momentum now with Jonathan Coachman, of course, now added to the Raw commentary team, which helps. I like the new graphics they have on the show. I think that's really cool. And Elimination Chamber looks to be pretty interesting. We found out who will be in the Women's Elimination Chamber match as well. And these are picking up for the Red Brand. So, SmackDown's a little in the holding pattern right now heading into FastLane, but we'll get into that after the Chamber is over. And it should be very interesting what we see at WrestleMania. I have no idea what the card is. Honestly, I don't care what the card is going to be. I don't. I have my ideas of what I want to see and what may happen, but I'm going to New Orleans to have fun. I'm going to New Orleans to hang out with Brother Carter, and that's why I'm going to WrestleMania. I'm going there to have fun, just like I did last year. And I'm very excited for this WrestleMania season. And I think Elimination Chamber is going to be a very good pay-per-view, too, well, especially with it being in Vegas. So the fact that the women are getting the chance to have another spotlight in a big market like Vegas, I think that's very cool. So we'll see what happens as the weeks go on, and I'll continue to document it on this podcast. Wanted to take some time to go over the card for the New Japan New Beginning in Osaka show going on tomorrow. As I record this on a Friday, so here we go. Katsuya Kitamura's trial series continues. This will be his 6th match. He'll be taking on Yuji Nagata, which should be a good match. We got Roppongi 3K against El Desperado and Yoshinobu Kanemaru. This is not for their IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team titles. This is a non-title match, so I want to throw that out there. We do have an 8-man tag team match. It's going to be Taguchi, Kushida, Michael Elgin, and Togi Makabe against a lot of the key guys in Suzuki Gun, so that's going to be a barn burner. We have a 6-man tag team match, a rematch from the show on Tuesday. It's Tomohiro Ishii and Jay White against Juice Robinson, David Finlay, and Toa Henare, who's an absolute idiot, by the way. I don't know anybody who just loves to run in and does forearm exchanges with Ishii. You're a freaking idiot. Gato against Bushi. We have Yoshihashi against Tetsuya Naito. That's going to be a fun match. The big 4 matches on this show is going to be really off the chain. Will Ospreay is defending his IWGP Junior Heavyweight title against Romo Takahashi. That's going to be insane. Hiroki Goto against Evil for the Never Openweight title. And then think about this. Okada versus Sonata. These two put on a stellar match in the G1 last year. I think this match may top it, and I'm looking forward to this the most tomorrow. And I'll provide that coverage for you on ProWrestlingTranscriptions.com. That's my website. Make sure to follow the Twitter page for that website at PW Transcripts. You can follow me on Twitter at Notorious Joshi. If you ever want to send an email or be an advertiser with the Josh Lopez Wrestling Podcast, all you have to do is send an email to prowrestlingtranscriptions@gmail.com using the subject line advertising. Like the Facebook page, facebook.com/JWL Podcast. Leave a review on iTunes if you can, or Apple Podcasts as they call it now. If you can leave a review and an honest rating for the podcast on Apple Podcasts, if you're listening to this right now, please do that. Pause it, leave a review. I know you're listening. Help a brother out. Give me an honest rating. I want to get you guys real thoughts on this podcast. And I enjoy doing this. We're 8 episodes away to 100, which should be probably WrestleMania weekend. So it's been fun so far, and I'm glad that you guys are enjoying the podcast. And I'll keep you posted of what our future lies. And that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed this week's podcast. Maybe some people may feel this was a slow week in wrestling. I don't think so. That's why I wanted to spend the time talking about 205 Live. And I like a lot of the little subtle things that are going on through both Raw and SmackDown as they head to these final pay-per-views before WrestleMania. So it's a good time to be a wrestling fan. And WWE posted another record-breaking quarter in their financial stocks. So, hey, Vince Russo and Disco Inferno, who thinks the business is at all-time low, you can go screw yourselves. And with that note, my name is Josh Lopez. This has been episode 92 of the Josh Lopez Wrestling Podcast. Remember, you are the director of your life story. Never let anybody impugn your character. I love you guys. Talk to you next week.
SmackDown Live is the land of opportunity, and that's what we both signed on for. We signed in, and one of the keys to our success is that each and every week, we listen to all of you. All of you. You determine an immense amount of things that happen on SmackDown Live. And when you guys all feel that a superstar deserves an opportunity, it is up to us to take that and give he or she that opportunity. You keep giving the same two superstars opportunity after opportunity.
You saw the WWE Championship match at the Royal Rumble. The referee made a mistake. So, I've tried to turn a negative into a positive. And I decided to make a huge main event for tonight, where two of your least favorite superstars would undoubtedly rip each other apart for an opportunity. Honestly, I thought you'd give me a well-deserved pay raise.
See, Daniel, it gets back into that opportunity. I would love to see Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. I'm looking forward to them ripping each other's head off. What bothers me is, once again, your decision to reward that. And they get a shot again at the WWE Championship. You are continually giving them opportunity at the WWE Championship, even going back to the Royal Rumble. So, Daniel, it is very, very difficult for me to understand why on earth would you continually give these two individuals an opportunity. The Yep movement is a cheap imitation of the greatest thing that you have created. And I want you to think about this. I do not want you to allow those two to manipulate you anymore. I know you feel for them. I also know that more than anything in this world, you would love to compete in this ring. More than anything. But Daniel, what you're doing.
Wait. Hold on, Shane. What exactly is it that I'm doing?
You are living vicariously through Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn.
You know, since the new year started last month, I've traveled over 10,000 miles defending this championship right here. I've been all over the world competing at the highest level because that's what I do. I was put on this planet to be phenomenal. You see, I can deal with the bumps and the bruises and the pain that goes along with it. I can deal with canceled flights. I can deal with the travel that takes me away from my family for days at a time. That's part of the grind. And I was built for the grind. But what I can't deal with is SmackDown Live management obsessing over Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. And I'm not just talking about you, Daniel. I'm talking to you too, Shane. You see, every time you guys make a decision based on Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, it affects me. Now, I'm a fighting champion. I don't care who wins tonight. I don't care. This is SmackDown Live, the house that AJ Styles built. So do me a favor. Just stay out of the way tonight. You see, I can control my own destiny. I can make my own luck. And I'll walk out of FastLane right into WrestleMania, the WWE champion.